Frank.
Hi.
Promotion on Friday, champions on Tuesday, lifting the trophy on Sunday. Does it get much of a better week than that?
No, in honesty, amazing week. We're lucky we're not. We worked hard for this, but to do it in the way we did it at Blackburn, with the impact of the late goal, Bobby's amazing header, and then to put in a performance which looked like us and was a statement of what we'd done all season at the CBS against Portsmouth to become champions. We said it as soon as we were promoted. We can't stop. We need to do that, and the players did that. So the fan interaction on both games was amazing, and say a lot. But the story of this club, the 25 years, it all came together, and special week.
How have the players been? Have they had the time to enjoy and celebrate?
Yeah, they celebrated afterwards. That became apparent in the dressing room straight after what was coming. I love the togetherness of them. We work hard, really hard. They've worked hard. Everyone's given everything. I'm proud when I see the body language of the players. I know we've just won the title, so you expect them to be jumping up and down. But I've been in some where some people feel maybe less part of it than others, etc., because of how many minutes they might have played. It was a very together feeling, which sums us up, and they celebrated together afterwards.
In terms of the way you reflect on this season, how difficult has it been to maintain the sort of consistency and level that you've shown?
Well, it's always difficult for any team, but our story from last season, how we moved up the table in the second half of the season, and then the continuation of that in terms of our consistency and performance, our dealing with the tough little period that we had mid-season where we were a bit fatigued and we came off it slightly, and then we came back really, really strong. So it's been difficult, of course. This league's one of the most difficult in the world to get out of. Everybody says that. And these boys have done it with consistent work and big quality, 90 goals, whatever. It's been very special.
Also a lovely moment for you at the EFL Awards. Congratulations on the Manager of the Year, and also 4 of your players being named in Team of the Year. A proud moment.
Yeah, very, very proud with that, to get recognition as a manager. I was fortunate enough to get certain recognitions as a player. As a manager, this felt very good personally, and the 4 players that got in the team, I believe there should have been 1 or 2 more from my team, but that's probably normal. I think Efron answered that the other night with his performance, because I think he's been absolutely outstanding on the wing, and other wingers are good in this league, but Efron's been amazing. But the players that were there, congrats to them, because they deserve it, all of them, and I was very pleased. It was a good night for the club, because I was at those awards last year, and we had less impact on the evening last year. So when you think about the change from last year to this year, and I'm in the award, 4 players are up there and we're promoted on the night, it was a special feeling.
Alongside all of that celebration this week, we've also had the sacking of Liam Rosenior at your former club. Is that a job you'd ever be tempted to take again, Frank?
Well, no, I definitely don't want to talk about Liam and Chelsea, because I've been there, and I never want to talk too much about managers because of context behind the scenes, etc. I think it's disrespectful to have a judgment on it. That's for pundits to have a judgment. So I'm Coventry manager. I'm enjoying my moment of us being promoted and winning the title, and that's it.
What have you made of their season? Because they're going through a difficult patch. So what have you made of it?
Again, it's a difficult patch for sure, and we as managers know that in those difficult patches, the consequences that can be, and I think we all have to be big enough to understand that. But as a football club, they're in a difficult patch. They have a chance probably to be able to get something out of the season with the FA Cup and the league position if they can make that better. But it's Chelsea's business. Chelsea's a big part of my life, but at the moment it's their business, and my business is here.
It's going to be a busy summer then, with the club preparing for the Premier League. I'm sure there'll be certain clubs that will have eyes on some of your players. How do you approach what is going to be a really important summer?
A lot of work, a lot of focus, and to be really clear on what our idea is, and that's obviously not to be broadcasted out, but at the same time I think, of course, we've worked hard to get to the Premier League. The players are desperate to get there, so we have to be clear, I think, with our important players as we see it, as we're trying to look at what the squad needs. We want to keep our best players. That's normal, and we know that there's a lot of work to do, which we will start talking about after the Watford game specifically. We've got quite a long summer here, but there's a lot of work to do, so we can't sit on our hands too much. So those conversations will happen, because the club has moved forward very quickly to get to the Premier League in all senses. So of course there'll be a lot of work for the club going forward.
With these final 2 games then, final home game at the CBS this weekend. I imagine you'll just want to end the season the way you started it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very important. We have to maintain our focus. Parts of it are not always easy when you've really achieved something, because it might be natural to feel like there could be a drop down. I don't like drop downs. I don't like them in front of our own fans. I think we have a duty to perform and to max it out right to the end. And that's exactly the attitude that I will take into the game. There should be no stopping from us. We want to continue showing our best face, our best version, right until the end.
All the best.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hi Frank.
Hi.
First of all, congratulations again for all this week. You told us that you knew you were going to do it after the Swansea game. What was it about that game that you knew the club was going to go on to do it?
Well, I just felt it was a performance of a team that's going up. It was a really strong performance in all senses. Swansea, a very difficult place to go. We're in really good form. I think unbeaten in 10 or something at home, won a lot of games. And I was concerned about the game in a good way, normally, because I knew it was a good opposition, and the boys put in a performance that's very symptomatic of what we've been this season. We can win games in different ways. We can be difficult to play through or to beat, to score against. We can score goals at any moment, and they did that in a tough match. And I think just purely as well what he did to the table at that point. Games are running out, and we won a really difficult game away. And I thought, here we go.
And you showed it again on Tuesday with the players coming off the bench and making an impact. Kane Kessler-Hayden specifically. How have you been managing his minutes? Because obviously you've got 2 very good right backs at the club. How's that been for you?
Yeah, not easy. Most difficult part of the job when players aren't playing, particularly when it's consistently not playing. The flip of that is Milan's been playing great, hence he gets into the team of the year, and he's been consistent and been fit, and so it's been a challenge to get Kane as many minutes as I would like to get him. But to be fair, he's kept going, kept training. He's very much ingrained himself in the squad as a lad. So I think he deserves his moment of scoring the goal. I was very, very pleased for him, because I know how tough it is when you're not playing as a player. So good for him.
Just going to update on Sakamoto, because I know you said to me previously that we haven't seen him for a couple of weeks. Are we going to see him for the rest of the season, or is it?
No, you won't be seeing him. The injury, probably the return to play is after the season, but and now with our position, then there's no need to rush that as such, and the injury is what it is, so he won't be here.
Fine, clean bill of health for the rest of the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Wrexham as well. What have you made of the model of Wrexham? Because we've seen it a lot more common now in football. Obviously, John Terry looking to buy Colchester, and we've seen other people buy other clubs. What have you made of Wrexham and their journey from National League?
I think it's a really good story. I've watched the series, not all of them, but I've watched enough of them to see what it is, because it was interesting. You want to see what it is. I think it's very well done. I think they've struck a really good balance of getting a football club and bringing it up through the leagues, through the hard work on the football front. And so credit to everybody there for that, and the ownership and the manager, because I think everyone will go, well, you've got more money than everyone else in whatever league you're in. It's not as simple as that. There's a lot of hard work. But I also think it's good. It's good fun. It's very modern. It's good. I like this social media, tweeting about us going to Vegas and all this stuff. I think it's I think there's a place for it, and I think it's been good. And they've also shown themselves as a serious outfit in this league. So credit to them. We want to win the game because we're going to be professional, but they obviously have a lot on it.
Would you ever welcome them behind the scenes at Coventry? Would you ever like that?
We'll see. We'll see. I prefer getting on with my work quietly, and then the players doing the big show on the pitch. But in the modern day, I have to be careful what I rule in or rule out, because maybe one day I'll be told what I'm doing. So we'll see.
You mentioned, of course, the journey they've been on, and they've still got a real chance of making the playoffs, haven't they? So it's not going to be easy on Sunday. And of course, with the title and everything around it, they're going to try and ruin the party. Yeah,
and let's be real, because I talk a lot about us being like a non-parachute team and all that, but the 2 clubs that have come up in Burnham and Wrexham have acted like teams that are financially very serious in the league. So they've recruited good players, they've got good championship experience, good talent, good physicality. So we found that when we went there earlier in the season, and watching them, I think they've developed through the year, and yeah, they've got good players who know this league, and so it's a tough match no matter what, and of course there's a lot on it for them. So there's a bit more added pressure on them. but at the same time they've got something on it, so we need to use our kind of freedom of having the shackles off in a good way and not a relaxed way, because we'll have to compete.
Does your team selection change, knowing that the job is done now, or are you going to give players more minutes these next couple of games? Or
I'm taking into account the next couple of games some players that deserve minutes because they've trained a lot and maybe haven't got so much, but it's not going to. I will not do it to weaken the team.
And lastly from me, just on your personal contract here, because obviously the job's now done, discussions happening with Doug, obviously still only got 1 year left at the football club. What's the situation?
Yeah, no discussions. No discussions. So I'm just getting on with my job and enjoying these last couple of weeks.
Fine. What does Frank do on a Saturday? Rest Saturday off? You going to go watch football or?
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
No, well I'll be training here in the morning and prepping for the game. No, nothing exciting.
The players have the day off.
No, they've had enough days off. They need to train. They've had a couple of days off since the game, and they deserve that. And we're trained today. We're trained tomorrow. Very normal. We go to our hotel and stuff. Yeah, it's we will prep right until the end.
Cheers, Frank.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
We've seen some of the celebrations on the pitch and in the changing room as well. Have you and the boys had a time to enjoy and celebrate? What has it been like?
Yeah, well, exactly that. Yeah, we've obviously with the game at Blackburn, it was good to get the point in the way that we did in the last 10 minutes, and yeah, secured promotion, and then we just really wanted to finish the job on Tuesday against Portsmouth, and I thought we were brilliant. So yeah, the celebrations have been good, but probably not as much as you'd think, considering we got 2 games coming up.
I was going to say, you're going to save it for after the final game of the season.
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously it's difficult to fully let your hair down when you know you've got 2 games still to play. We're happy that obviously we've got it wrapped up early, but yeah, I think the full celebrations come after.
We had Frank in before you, and we were just reflecting on the season that you've had. What has it been like for you as a captain leading this team?
Incredible. I've said numerous times, it's such an easy group to lead. It's the best group I've been a part of, for sure. The change room dynamic is fantastic. The lads playing, the lads not playing, everyone just plays their part, and the staff as well. Everyone's been a huge driving force to achieving what we have this year. And I think you can see that on the pitch. You can see the togetherness from the lads, especially in the tough moments that we've had this season.
Frank also spoke about the togetherness. Since you came in last year, has that always been the case? Has it always been this tight-knit group? Was that come with time?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm going to give a shout out to the lads that haven't been playing as much. I think they're so crucial, any football club, that they keep driving the standards and they keep the changing room together. Think of Jamie Allen, Jake Bidwell, Ben Wilson. We signed Wolfie and Kane in the summer that probably haven't played as much as they'd like, but they're such big parts of the group, and they've kept us going throughout the whole season. Obviously, they've played when they've had their opportunity and taken it. And yeah, like I say, it's everyone that has pulled together and achieved what we have.
You've got your own experiences in the Premier League, and you'll know the challenge, the step up it's going to be in terms of intensity and pace next season as well. What does that mean in terms of the team's preparation in this summer as well? How much are you looking forward to a return to the Premier League?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I feel like I got a little bit of a taste of it, obviously, when I moved to Swansea all those years ago. Didn't play as much as I would have liked, but you do, just seeing it and being around it, you do realise that it is a step up and it is going to be a big challenge. But it's one we're just excited for. I think none of us have really thought too much about next season so far. We want to finish the season strongly, and then prepare in the summer for what will be a tough year next year.
Well, with Wrexham this weekend, obviously a final home game in front of the CBS crowd, a trophy lift as well, but the result didn't go your way earlier this season, so I imagine that trophy lift will be even better if it's with a win.
Yeah, of course. I mean, being an athlete, we're all so competitive. It doesn't matter what is riding on it, whether you need to win, you don't need to win, whatever. So we want to make sure that we finish off the season in style. Our home record has been so good this year, so good. And yeah, I feel like if you just keep winning going into summer, you keep your momentum, and it makes all the celebrations a little bit more enjoyable.
Frank was also talking about his highlights with Andy just now. Any particular highlights for you? Are there any moments that will really stick with you?
I don't know, you put me on the spot here. I feel like the two games that were most important were the Preston game at home and the Swansea game away. I feel like they were occasions where teams around us dropped points. I know everyone says, we don't look at the table, we don't look at how the other teams got, but you do. So we saw that teams dropped points before us on those two occasions, and it could have been a case of, they've dropped points, we're okay, we probably don't need to win, but we've just gone and won both games 3-0 and really put a statement out that we're going to take this league. And that was the messaging the whole time from the gaffer, the staff, all of the lads, so we knew what our job was. So if I was going to pick a couple of games, I'd say those two were the biggest ones.
All the best this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, Matt.
Morning.
Nice to see you. How excited are you to be lifting that championship trophy on Sunday?
Yeah, really excited. Obviously, probably beyond any of our wildest dreams at the start of the season. So yeah, it's been a fantastic year.
Can you take me back to when you joined this football club and the conversations you had with Frank and Doug and Dean? And I guess you were sold a project. Has this kind of come early, this championship trophy, or?
I don't know if early, but obviously, like I said, I've said many times before that I was sold on the ambition of the club, and it's such a huge club, such a huge fan base. And when they went through what their ideas was, what their plan was of keeping the group together and building throughout, obviously this started before I was even here. They've built really, really well, kept the core of the group together, and they said, look, we're going to have a right good go at it. So they didn't obviously say we want top 2 or top 6 or anything like that. They just said we're going to have a right good go. And that's what I was sold on, to be honest. And obviously the gaffer's a serial winner, and he's instilled that in us lads as well.
And how much have you learned from him as well, the gaffer?
Yeah, loads. He's incredible to work with. I can't give him enough praise, and he deserves everything, all the praise that he's getting at the end of this year.
And of course, you made the championship team this season. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
It must be a nice feeling after the hard work you've put in.
Yeah, of course. It's always nice to be recognised like that. Obviously, first and foremost, the goal was to get us promoted. But yeah, it's nice. It was a nice little bonus on what has been a brilliant year.
You mentioned the Swansea game there with Amber, and Frank as well said after the Swansea game he knew you guys would go on and do it. What was it about that game? You mentioned it as well. What was it? What was so key about that 90 minutes?
I think, like I say, about the teams dropping points around us. It's such a... When you're watching teams play before you, I think both the games were on TV, the Borough and Ipswich game, so we were kind of watching it whilst having prima, and we were 5:30 kickoff or 5:15 or something like that. So we're watching those games, seeing how they unfolded, and yeah, it would have been kind of like, they've both dropped points, like we're all right, we can maybe get away with not winning this one, but we've just turned around and thumped them 3-0, especially when I think they were 10 unbeaten at home going into that game. So yeah, I think that was, I don't know if I'd agree. I've heard him say that before, he knew we were going to go up, but after that game, I don't know if I'd agree with that. I was still just thinking next game. But yeah, no, I think that definitely gave a feeling of, right, it's really on now.
And obviously working in midfield, you've done an incredible job, but we have to give Jack and Onyeka. What's it like, the three of you working in that midfield? Yeah,
brilliant. I mean, like I've said before, it's been everyone this year. You think of Jamie Allen, Josh Eccles, Victor Torp at the start of the season have been absolutely incredible. We went on a brilliant run at the start of the year. Frank has then come in January and made a big difference. Rudy, obviously, everyone knows the quality he's got. So, yeah, it's. I feel like we've got so many different dynamics of player in midfield. So yeah, it's whoever you play with, it's just a joy, and we've really shown that this year, I think.
How much of a difference has Frank made? Obviously, as well with the club being promoted, he'll join permanently now, so he'll be part of the Premier League side next season. And how much of a difference has he made since joining? Yeah,
I think where you saw we went through a little bit of a mid-season wobble. Well, I wouldn't say wobble, but a little bit of a blip in form. When you can bring someone in that's got so much experience and such a high quality player, it just gives the whole place a big boost. So yeah, he's been fantastic. You've seen his performances, the energy he gives everyone. So yeah, he's been a really, really big part of it.
And of course Sunday, obviously the title and then everything around that. But you still got a game to play against a very tough Wrexham side.
Yeah, they have a really good team. Obviously they're chasing the top 6 now. But our focus is purely on ourselves. We want to win and sign off the season in style.
And of course the fans looking forward to Sunday, but also the 4th of May when you go around the city. It's you mentioned about the fan base, how well they've been, and have you been surprised with how good it has been?
Well, I feel a little bit. I feel very lucky considering when I first moved here, it's kind of just gone from strength to strength to strength. But I'll shout on it again. I said in a piece before that Jamie Patterson always used to go on about how big the club was, how good the fan base was. Because he's a Cov lad, you kind of think, take it a little bit with a pinch of salt. But he was spot on. The fan base is incredible. It's such a big club, and we really do feel that. I don't think it's a coincidence that our home form has been so good this year, with them backing us.
All the best.
Thank you.